Hey everybody, Tony Johnson here, Customer Experience Leader. So listen, today, more homework tips. Now, today I was listening to Governor Cuomo again. That guy actually can run a pretty good press conference. If you've never listened to Governor Cuomo, and I don't care what your politics are, if you've never listened to him, the guy's funny, the guy has direct answers, he's kind of a straight shooter. Again, Democrat or Republican, you might actually get a kick out of watching how this guy runs a press conference, how as really a chief executive type of a person that he actually, communicates. I think he does a nice job. Plus, I think he uses humor a lot of times really effectively. So I always appreciate that. So again, we are at this, at probably day 4 for a lot of you, and I wonder how it's going. So if you could, let me know, how is your home remote work experience going so far? Are you finding it compelling? Are you finding it frustrating? I heard a great quote the other day. This was something that someone actually left on my page after one of these live sessions. I've never felt so relieved, empowered, productive, isolated and lonely, and challenged all at the same time. I can't think of a better way of summing up what it really means to work from home. So think about that. Again, you've got all these processes going on. You probably are starting to get into your groove, and that's great. So I'm going to lay 3 more tips on you today. But before I jump into those 3 tips, just sort of a word from our sponsors. If you haven't picked up my book, Together We Serve, this is a great customer experience, great leadership book. You can get it on Audible. It's actually brand new on Audible. And also you can get it on ebook. You can get it on Amazon. You can get the print analog version or just download it for Kindle. So again, lots of different versions, but check it out on my website. You can actually get a link to it or go right to Amazon or right to Audible and download it today because you've got that credit you're dying to use up. So use it for this. That said, let's jump into the first tip. Have you asked for any feedback yet? So you're probably, again, 4 or 5 days into this homework experiment. Have you asked for any feedback from your manager, from your supervisor? If you lead people, have you talked to your team? Because it's really important to find out if you're doing some stuff that's working, if you're doing some stuff that's annoying people, if you are having really great success with how you're communicating or not. Good time to know that. So again, that's tip number 1 today. Tomorrow morning, first thing, reach out to first your boss, find out how that's going, find out how it's working for them. If you, like me, you work directly with clients a lot, reach out to those clients, make sure that they're still getting what they need from you. And then if you're leading a team in an organization, particularly if you have folks scattered all over the place and they're maybe experimenting with working remote as well, reach out to them. How's their experience going? Do they need anything? And are you leading them in an appropriate way? Again, now that you're all scattered to the 4 winds. So that's tip 1. Tip 2. Don't neglect physical activity. So, a lot of you may have had gyms at work. Maybe a part of your morning routine was you went to the gym on the way to work and then worked out and showered and went to work from there. Maybe this has thrown all of that into a state of flux. So think about the fact that you still need to work in that time. If you're socially distancing and you're not going to the gym, then still don't. But that doesn't mean you can't be physically active. So a couple of tips. If you're in a nice area like me, I'm right outside of Orlando. It was 87 and sunny today. Get outside and work. Get a little bit of that vitamin D from the sun. The other thing you can do is stand up. Just because you don't have your Vera desk or your fancy desk that you had at your workspace doesn't mean that you can't still stand up. Heck, I take my laptop out a lot, stand at my kitchen counter. It's closer to the coffee pot anyway, and I'll just work from there. And it's great because you get standing up, the energy's happening. In fact, it's a great tip if you're taking conference calls and doing a lot of virtual stuff anyway, because when you stand up, it opens up your diaphragm, it opens up your tone of voice, you smile more often, and you really just feel good because that body language shines through on whatever communication mechanism you got going on. So stand up. You can also do as many push-ups as you can or crunches in a day. Heck, every time I walk by this staircase in my house, I actually stop and do 15 or 20 push-ups. And so you'd be shocked at how you can quickly get to 60, 70, 100 push-ups in a day. Make it a game. How many push-ups can you do or crunches or sit-ups can you do tomorrow just as a part of your daily work routine? Imagine if you can get those kind of guns of steel along with getting a really great work day in. And then finally, think about again, can you work in that gym? And if you're not socially distancing, can you go later at night, earlier in the morning, go on lunch? But don't forget to work in that physical activity. In fact, I was talking to one of the guys on my team today, and he said he actually keeps one of those bicycle things underneath his desk. And Sean, yes, I'm talking about you. He actually, and will just pedal throughout the day, and that's a great way for him to get some exercise in throughout the day. And my final tip, think about forming a work from home club. Now, this doesn't mean it has to be people in your workspace. In fact, it's even better if they're outside of your work realm. It could be friends that are in different fields, different areas of expertise, and they happen to be working from home. Even better if you've got some friends who have worked from home for a long time. I've actually been talking to a lot of folks who are just getting into this work journey who have called me for kind of advice and counsel on how to do the very most, get the very most out of their day every day now that they're working from home. So again, find some friends, find some colleagues, some folks you know, and actually connect with them a couple times a day or every other day, whatever makes sense, or maybe have a big group phone call at the end of the day to share best practices, just to grouse about what's going on, you know, those kind of things. And just remember that throughout all of these pieces, right, asking for feedback, making sure you get your physical activity in, and then also forming this work from home club. Just remember, I don't know that we're on the back end of this yet. We may not have peaked. So just be aware, I know in New York City today during that press conference I mentioned earlier, I think Governor Cuomo has actually taken the state of New York from 50% capacity, lowering it down to 25% capacity, meaning that 75% of the workforce has to work from home or not come into the office, again, as they try to get socially distancing pieces to help, you know, offset this as quickly as we can. So I think, again, we haven't hit the peak yet, so we're probably not even at the halfway mark. So just know, continue to find ways to up your game when it comes from working from home. I think you'll find it gratifying and energizing. And then again, if you want to connect with me for even more tips, you know, igniteyourservice.com is my website. You can connect with me on Instagram or Twitter or check out my blog. But again, stay connected, because during this time, there's no wrong way to stay connected to people. It's all about taking care of yourself, taking care of your employers and those you work for, and continuing to show tremendous value even though you're working from home. I will talk to you tomorrow at 5:30, because as you know, this is live at 5:30 every day to talk about these great tips for maximizing your time as you work from home. Talk to you tomorrow.